Happy Fall Out Boy album release day, everybody. I am so excited to listen to so much for Stardust. I hope you've all had a great week listening to the new All Time Low album that came out last week. Man, it is such a good week for music. And such a good week for classic Doctor Who reviews. Because today we're going to be covering that one. You know what one I'm talking about. Yes, this is the Doctor Who story where a dude gets eaten by a sofa. I'm not even joking. Mannequin Mania continues. Terror of the Autons is the first serial in the 8th season, played by the 3rd Doctor, John Pertwee, in his 2nd season. And good golly gosh, there's a million things to talk about here, so I'm just going to start listing them off one by one, because there's a lot. Firstly, I have in fact read the novelisation of this story way back in high school, which is like a good 13 or so years ago, and I remember really enjoying it, which is funny considering the fact that I've never actually watched these episodes until now. Secondly, this is the first classic Doctor Who story that I've covered that I actually own as part of the collection Blu-ray sets. Now you might be wondering which version I'm going to go with, given my history of ranting about wanting to watch the best possible version of old missing Doctor Who episodes. Well, for the purposes of this review series, if I own the story on DVD, then I'll be reviewing that version first. You know, gotta get at least one use out of them before I never touch it again and stick with the higher quality Blu-ray release. Next thing of note, Liz is gone. Yeah, I had no idea she was only around for one season. I just assumed naturally that she'd be around for at least 2. Actress Caroline John went off to have a baby and they just didn't renew her contract. Which is all well and good, but I was taken so off guard when expecting her to return, but instead popular series companion Jo Grant walked on screen. At least they acknowledge it in the story, with the Doctor admitting that he admired Liz's intelligence and probably won't be able to find another assistant as smart as her. Assistant really is the appropriate term, because she wasn't really a TARDIS companion as such. She's just someone that worked for UNIT that would always help the Doctor out. Never got to experience any of the cool, time and space fiascos. They had a fairly decent rapport, unlike the Doctor and the Brigadier. So I feel bad that I didn't know about it ahead of time, otherwise I would have mentioned it in my Inferno review. In saying that, Jo Grant has made an excellent first impression. Just such a bright, bubbly personality. Not in an annoying way, but like in an endearing way. And she even managed to get through the 3rd Doctor's apprehension, like, oh, I don't need another assistant. But she's just so pleasant. Kind of like Vicky or Victoria, before travelling with the Doctor, mortified her beyond belief, that is. Moving right along to the next big thing, series mainstay The Master makes his first appearance here. I've never seen an episode with Roger Delgado's portrayal of this iconic villain before, but I gotta say, he really suits that role. I mean, obviously, this was like the basis for what all other actors would bring to the table, like the default template for what the Master is. And I gotta say that his first incarnation on screen is suitably sly and sinister with an awesome mustache. I'm jealous. Don't get me wrong, he comes packed with plenty of silliness too. The Master can hypnotise people simply by staring directly into their eyes. He has this little device which looks like a mixture between a sonic screwdriver and a gun that he holds like a syringe, which shrinks a guy down to this size and he puts him in a lunchbox. Weird. I don't even know if that guy died or not. Oh, and he uses this giant extended phone cable that reacts to specific audio frequencies to try and strangle the Doctor. Yeah, the Master is relentless and resourceful. You thought I was done listing off all these random noteworthy things? Oh, no way! The Doctor has his new threads, looking very sharp. A plastic chair eats a man. The less said about this ugly doll thing, the better. There's a crap ton of blue screen, green screeny looking shot deposits that age poorly, but as far as I can tell are a first for the show, not including the the brilliant effects in the Ambassadors of Death. And finally, this serial obviously features the Autons in their second and final appearance in the classic series. No idea why they were only used twice. I like them a lot. So, was that enough stuff packed into a single 4-parter for you? Well, believe it or not, there's more, but we'll get to that. I should probably talk about the story. You'll never guess the plot. Get this. The Master steals the leftover Nestine device from Spearhead from Space and uses it in an attempt to bring the Nestine back to Earth by way of an army of Autons. Naturally, the Doctor and unit put a stop to this. Bad guy do bad thing, good guy stop bad guy. Simple yet effective. Effective being an understatement. They pack so much into this little story and not a moment of it goes to waste. I don't know how they managed to juggle all these new characters and ideas so well, but they pulled it off. I really, really like this one. And I can't really explain why, but I really felt like they managed to recapture some of that classical sci-fi magic that just seemed to be missing from Season 7. And in the end, it sets the season up in a really cool way that was unexpected to me at least. The Doctor pinched a critical component from the Master's T.A.R.D.I.S, meaning that they are both stranded on Earth. In the behind-the-scenes special features, they were talking about how the Doctor and the Brigadier had a sort of Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson dynamic. I don't see it, but okay. So, while the Doctor's stuck on Earth due to budget restrictions, exiled by the Time Lords, why not give him his own equivalent of Moriarty? An equally matched villain to face off against throughout the season. Very clever. Oh, I should probably mention for the 2 people that don't already know, but the Master is another renegade runaway Time Lord. Speaking of Time Lords, what the heck was with that random one that just appeared out of the blue, hovering in mid-air, without a TARDIS, despite the TARDIS sound effect still playing? What is this nonsense? Transmigration of an entire person? Ugh, let's not bring that up again. Oh, and if there is one nitpick I have, it's that an Auton speaks now. I think the writers must have written themselves into a corner because there's a scene where a hypnotized human needs to communicate with someone, but because there are only Autons in the scene, they just have a disembodied voice communicate with them, which just doesn't seem to fit with any Auton lore that I understand so far. But whatever, it didn't ruin it for me. And actually, I can't end this review without bringing attention to the awesome Auton stunt work. There's a great YouTube video that I'll link below, and in the description it explains how the stuntman was accidentally punted by the car, sending him flying off the edge way faster than he was meant to, and yet the stuntman managed to pull it off safely in one continuous shot. Massive props to stuntman Terry Walsh for pulling that one off. Incredible work, and damn did that look painful. And that brings us to the end of my review. I do love a solid 4-parter, and having the memory of that novelization from so many years ago in my head helped me to remember a lot of unseen details, like Jo keeping her wrists apart when getting tied up to help her escape her bonds more freely when they're captured, and the poor final victim of the Master's plan at the end. I remember when I first read that, I was like, no! Oh no, why? And yes, in case you were wondering, I did have a little sneak peek into the Blu-ray special features to see those completely redone special effects, and yeah, they're really good. Much like Terror of the Autons is really good. Oh, it feels so good to be able to make these videos again after being forced to take a couple of weeks off at the start of the year. Heck, by the time these are uploaded, I might even have a new place to live. Anyway, tune back in next week when the Master returns to cause more havoc in the Mind of Evil. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, and for the 2 people that don't know, the Master is a TARDIS. What? What did I say? Oh, I just realised I should probably mention for like the 2 people that don't know, but the Master is another renegade runaway TARDIS. Oh, I said it again!